Right, so I'm just having a few problems with the camera actually. It's all fuzzy before, like it was on macro. Managed to fix it now. I'm a bit worried. I didn't do a shave yesterday because I was very busy. I left it too late, basically. By the time you know, I thought it was time to do one. It's time to go out. It's dark. Whoop, hang on a second. That's better. Got a few problems here. I tell you what, just talk amongst yourselves for a second while I tighten up the mirror. Okay, hang on. Is that better? Is that better? Oh God, this is, I mean, I'm sorry folks, this is just, it's not acceptable really, is it? But, there we go. Okay, okay. Couple of things before we start off. Welcome to the Big Shave with me, Steve Flanagan, all the way from Liverpool. I always talk about the weather. Weather's fine. Not really cold, not nice and warm, just sort of medium sort of day. What you'd expect for October. So I don't mind it when the weather's about right. But it's when when we're getting snow in July and we're in a Bermuda shorts in December. I don't really like. It's Sunday the 23rd of October. October's nearly over. My God, where has it gone? We're not using the Suds Law handmade soap today. Goat's milk shaving soap with sandalwood and nutmeg. Putting that to one side for a bit. Give it a rest for a couple of days. Top marks really. Nice and creamy, nice and moist. No irritation whatsoever. Some people on the site, on the Facebook group, have actually got in touch with Suds Law who make it, and I've sort of asked them how much it costs to go to America. It's €2.6 to send it to America. This sandalwood, this cedar and lemon stuff, although it was okay, it irritated a little bit after a while, so it's a bit like me, it irritates after a while. So what we're doing today with the old foam stuff, there's a bit of a discussion on the Facebook group about whether you should soak your badger brush beforehand. I would just soak it slightly and leave it standing in water. That's good enough for me. Hog brushes are completely different though. I think they need to be soaked. I've got one hog brush which I've been using, which I used for quite a long time before I got my badger. That doesn't need soaking. It's almost turned into a badger brush. So what we're going to do, we're going to try and make some nice lather today because it's Sunday, and we're going to use a little bit of Arco in a bowl, tiny bit of Arco, which I'm going to pound down into the bowl so it doesn't move around. And I'm going to use some of this stuff. I've got loads of this stuff knocking around. This is Arco in a tube, and it's Arco moist in a tube. I'm going to throw a little bit of that in because it seems a bit of a waste. It's just sitting in a cupboard not doing anything. So I'll probably put too much in. There you go. That's what I put into there. So that's the Arco. That's the Arco stick soap. And I'm going to start lathering up now. Let's see what happens. I've also ordered some Mitchell's wool fat soap on the basis of Tim's videos, really. Tim Miller's videos. The suds and everything in them is fantastic. So I'm gonna try and try some of that. It's about £7 on eBay. Not a great deal of money. I'm getting to the point now where I've got enough razor blades. I've got far too many razors and I've got far too much soap to last me the rest of my life. So I'm going to have to make a will and leave it to people, I suppose. Okay, what's been happening? I went to a party last night. Interesting party. A friend of mine is a musician, Alicia Rose, calls herself Dog Star when she performs. She's 41 last night. Oh, I shouldn't say that, she's a woman. You shouldn't say woman's age, should you really? She lives in a part, she lives around here, a part of where, you know, this area called Waverley, where the council decided about 10 years ago they were going to knock bits of it down to improve it. And there was a bit of people didn't want to move and all this sort of stuff. So it turned into a right nightmare. It should have only taken them about 2 years to clear the streets, and it hasn't. And it's ended up that Alicia is one of the last 3 people in the street. So we had like a bit of a street party last night. We had a bit of a bonfire, and Alicia got a PA system out, and that was fun. Stood there for a couple of hours, drank a few bottles of non-alcoholic beer. A few friends with Steve Maudsley, Wendy, Pedro, and Eddie Cotton from KBFM, the radio station. They were all there, and Eddie's been watching some of these videos. He might even watch this at some point. Eddie's a good guy. He's not been involved with the radio that long, and this soap's fantastic, isn't it? Look at that, folks. Who's crap at lather enough? Hey, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Okay. So Eddie, I was telling Eddie all about shaving. I told him about why he started doing all this and how he should do it. And I asked him the inevitable question: was, has anyone ever taught you how to shave? We're still using the America Future. It's got a Wilkinson blade in it, which has been rotated, and we've got it on setting number 4. No, put it on 6 because I'm not shaved for 2 days. So I was telling him all about it in my own inimitable way. Look, I'm shaving close to my eyeball as well. Look at that. Just to see if you know. And he came up with the same answers really. No one I know, bar one person, has ever been taught how to shave. He has problems with his shaving as well. He has rough patches on his face, etc, etc, etc. It's all very predictable really, and hopefully getting involved with something like this might help. I said that I'd sort out some soap and a brush for him and things like that, so if you're watching, Eddie, go and buy that Gillette razor off Amazon. Told him to buy a Gillette Classic. Come buy a Gillette Classic, and with the 5 razor blades for £7 on Amazon. Best £7 you'll ever spend. So that's the first pass. It was relatively easy. I'm going to lower the Future down to about 3 now, I think. I'll leave it at that. I tell you what, that makes a good lather there. Okay, what else are we talking about? Let's talk about what are we going to talk about? Let's talk about the who would you shave from history. Been some interesting. Tim Miller, who's in Lakenheath, has got his teeth right into this, and he's pondering away on these videos. If you get a chance to watch Tim's videos, by the way, he's pondering away on these videos, and some of the people he's been coming up with. I think he came up with Thomas Jefferson, which is good. I thought it was a good choice. Frank Whittle. Now, if you don't know who Frank Whittle is, it'll probably go some way to tell you like how Tim's mind works and like what Tim's really interested in. Tim, I hope he doesn't mind me saying this, but he works for the US government. He works for the United States Air Force, I think, and he services planes. This might be breaking some sort of official secrets act. If there's any Russians watching this, we're all going to be locked away. Frank Whittle was the man who invented the jet engine, so obviously, he's one of the men who invented the jet engine. And of course, I suppose if you're a jet engine mechanic or engineer, as Tim is, that's the type of person that you'd want to shave and talk to, where you got the idea from, how it gelled in his head, how he developed it. And I've been thinking about it, and probably the jury's still out. There's one obvious one really, and that's probably got a lot to do with what this video is about. This video is about men not teaching their sons how to shave. My dad's dead now. My dad's been dead since 1978. He died when he was 64 of a stroke, which is very sad. And I do miss the old bugger, even though it's a long time ago. It's 33 years ago. Because you never saw any of my kids, never saw me get married, never saw any of my kids born, never saw them grow up, never saw what I turned into. That might be a good thing.
And so it'd be really nice to give your dad a shave, wouldn't it, and chat to him. Especially if you're around about the same age. It's a bit like, what do you call it, Field of Dreams. You know, Kevin Costner's dad comes back. It's got that sort of feel to it. Shave of dreams. Famous people, I'm still considering Winston Churchill, really. Now, it's quite strange because Winston Churchill, when I grew up, everyone, my generation, used to, you know, born in the 1950s, the war was still very, very prominent in people's memories. And obviously Churchill was a bit of a, you know, bit of a hero. And, but in my family, my dad was a, you know, mum and dad were both Labour people. They grew up. They were both born in 1913 and 1914. Churchill, early on, when he was the Home Secretary, wasn't a very nice man. He had a lot to do with this 1926 transport strike, 1926 general strike, and also a strike that took place in Liverpool. He was like the guy who brought in the army to quell the strikers. So whenever Churchill's name was brought up, my mum used to say, "Don't talk to me about that bastard." And so, on the one hand in school we were taught he was the saviour, and on the other, but I think since, you know, in the last few years I've sort of read a little bit more, and I still sort of know what my mum and dad were going on about, but also, you know, some of the things that happened, especially in 1940, when he took over from Chamberlain, and it was a toss-up between him and Lord Halifax as to who took over, who was the Prime Minister. Halifax would have surrendered to Germany. There's no two ways about it. Churchill, on the other hand, was quoted. He gave a speech to the cabinet, and, you know, a real rabble-rousing speech. And I think I'm right when it was on a programme a couple of weeks ago. He gave a real rabble-rousing speech, and at the end of the speech, you know, one of his aides said to him something like, you know, "Did you really mean all that?" And he said, "Well, you know, it's either that, or we're all going to be hanging from lampposts, you know, or hung or shot by the Nazis." And so he was a brave man, and, you know, he was sort of like some people's time comes, a certain, not necessarily when they're young. There's a great sort of belief in youth at the moment, and, you know, you can only be young to do things, and you get too old to do this. I don't believe in any of that. And Churchill's obviously an example of that. You know, the guy was in his 60s during the war, and if he hadn't been there, we'd all be talking with German accents now, wouldn't we? Okay, last couple of things before we go. Let me put some tobacco cologne on. So that was a good shave, it's not stinging at all. Rub it well in. Let it evaporate before we go on to the next stage, which I don't usually do. I'm usually too impatient. But it is a Sunday, I should be taking my time. Okay, well, that's evaporating. Got a couple of things to talk about. The book I've just been reading is King of Shaves. It's Will King. It's a story of how he developed his shaving oil. If you're interested in shaving like I am, and you're interested in business and entrepreneurship, then it's a nice little read. Doesn't take very long to read. There's big sections in it where he's got other people to write their side of the story, these box things, and you can actually skip over them. And then when you do, it's a bit quicker. Something else, talk about iPads, I've been given an iPad in work, quite fortuitously, and I dropped it. I didn't like it. I was having a real struggle with it, because when you get it, all you get is that, and it doesn't really do anything. It goes on the internet. It seems to do two things. It seems to go on the internet, and it lets you buy things from the Apple store, which is quite big of them. But then I put a word processing package on called IA Writer, and that seems to have helped a little bit, which is that one there. I've also got an art package on as well, which let's have a look at what we've got. Allows you to draw, and it's great. If you're creative like me, that's something I knocked off. in about 10 minutes, just a little bit of doodling. But you can also do like mind mapping stuff on it as well. So you can do, this is a mind map I was doing. This is how we develop ideas. So you do mind maps, it means you don't use any paper anymore. But the funniest thing on it, if you've got an iPad or an iPhone, is you can do this. Right, you ready for this? This is called Shave Me. Okay, not Save Me, Shave Me. And it's a shaving app, it's free. And it's quite funny really, because let me shake it. You shake it and the hair grows, okay. So the first thing you do is open your kit up and you get your foam out. And you spray your foam. I don't like using foam obviously. It should really have Arco in there, but it hasn't. And then once you've done that, I'll try and hold this so you can see it. You open your kit up again, like so. And you can have a straight razor or an ordinary razor or a lucky razor. Now, if you use a straight razor, you have to be really, really careful, because you can see, if you press too hard, you get real bad irritation. Okay. If you shave where there's no foam, you get irritation straight away. If you want to change it, you can use a twin blade razor. It isn't as bad. Takes a couple of passes. Again though, if you stay in one place, you get irritation. If you want to get rid of the irritation, you just use a little bit of balm. You have balm at the bottom here, so you basically add the balm. And when you want to grow it back, you do that. So let me just have a go. The Lucky Razor is good as well. Lucky Razor, it's a bit like a Lucky Razor. It takes ages to wear it down, and it's never very close. So it's quite accurate. Look, you can't get rid of that there. Look, no matter how long you stay. That is a Lucky Razor, isn't it? Look, how rubbish is that? Okay, so that's called Shave Me. I should have used it that week, then I didn't get a shave, shouldn't I really? And it's a free app on the iPad, so it's growing on me a little bit, the iPad. I wasn't very keen on it to begin with. I thought it was just a load of hype. But I'm using Facebook on it a bit more, and obviously watch YouTube videos on it as well, which is quite interesting. I'm still not, still not willing to worth 500 quid or whatever they cost. But there you go. There's Facebook's app. The other thing it's really good at is it's got an app on it called TuneIn Radio, which is this thing here, and you can tune into radio stations all over the world. And of course, there's only really one radio station you should be listening to, isn't there? And you know what, I can't get the wireless connection in the bathroom, which is not very good, is it? But you can get KVFM online on no, I think it's just too far away from the connection. So you can get KVFM online, and the other thing you can do is it's good for watching YouTube videos. Obviously, won't go online and do that. So that's it for today. The big shave. Quite a long one today. I had a lot to get through. Before we go, I'll just put a bit of cream on and keep on talking. So remember, it's nice if you can tell us who you'd shave in the history of the world. Which person you'd go out your way to give them a shave, what you'd say to them, what you'd talk to them about, what razor you'd use, and that's about it really. Also Christmas list and what shaving kit you take to a desert island if you were marooned for a year. What could you put up with for the year's worth of shaving with absolutely no choice whatsoever? I suppose there's always the coconut, isn't there? Okay, so that's nearly done. Just a little bit of aftershave, then we're ready. Off to see Mystery Woman. Off to see Mystery Woman today. And hopefully have a pleasant Sunday afternoon. Goodbye from me, Steve Farragut, with a big shave. And have a good week. I'll see you in the week sometime.